Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to stop saying anything really about your hair because whenever we talk about your hair, it's just always, it's like a fun loving, your fun loving thing. And
Well, my hair is a fun-loving thing.
yeah, I mean, I'm not knocking your hair, believe me. I love your head of
It's a
hair.
lot of fun. It's
Beautiful
always
hair.
different.
Beautiful hair. Um, so this morning, because it's early, it's like not even 7 o'clock. Oh, it's almost 7 o'clock. See, I can't lie because the clock's right behind you.
Yeah, that's great.
I wouldn't anyway. But yeah, it came to us to sort of talk about the industry and how it's changed in the last 50 years. It goes back before my experiences, but for you, how has it changed since you started?
The record industry used to be real personal. It's not personal at all anymore. It was personal in that, like when I was first started getting involved in the industry side of things, meaning gaining knowledge, because I was never really active on that side of it. But
You mean the business side?
the business side, no, and I still don't know too much about it. I know just enough to not say anything. I'm finding out more and more lately. But used to, say, like in 66, 67, right at, to the 70s. And I mean, I was the first white act signed to Stax's hip label. And I was at Stax Records every day, down on Macklemore. I was there every day that the doors were open, and that was pretty much every day, and or at least when I was in town. But when someone was coming to town, like Tom Dowd or Jerry Wexler, Ahmet Erdogan, or Nashui Erdogan.
We're talking about the three major players in the business at
Major
the time.
players in the industry, the Marshall Chess family, Leonard Chess. These people were the foundation of the industry, founders of the industry. They were personal with the artist. When you could be playing somewhere, whether it be down on Beale or wherever it might be, Paradise Ballroom, anywhere, and then somebody like Ahmet Erdogan walks through the door, you knew somebody was going to be having a record out.
It was exciting, wasn't
It was exciting, and you knew before when they were coming to town, and when they got to town, word spread in the underworld like wildfire. And it was real personal, and I was real fortunate to get to meet and befriend these people, throughout the years. Tom Dowd was executive producer on the Layla album. I got to know these folks real well. And then when you and I were fast forward to, skip some years, and you and I were in New Jersey, and we had some music. I sent it to Ahmed in New York, and I just wanted some feedback from him. And he got back. Next thing you know,
this was 10 years ago, around 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
He got back and he got...
No, it was more than that, 15 years ago.
Oh, it was, that's true. Yeah.
Because we were not here. We weren't in Austin.
You said, it's the phone. I'm an Erdogan.
It's the phone.
Otis Redding called him Omelet Erdogan.
Omelet?
He called him Omelet, yeah. Otis called his office one time and he said, "This is. I'd like to speak to Omelet." And the secretary hung up on him.
No.
On Otis, and then Omelet said, "Who was that?" And she said, "It was this guy named Otis Redding." He said, "If he ever calls me back," he put him straight through. That's Otis, and you call him Omelet, but. Anyway, I had reached out to him because I wanted him to check out what we were doing, and he got back to me, and he said that about you and I, that we're beautiful and soulful, and he said there's not a thing I can do. He said I would if I could, but there's nothing I can do. He said I'm just a figurehead anymore. He said I have no power, no authority whatsoever, even in my own record company, Atlantic.
Yeah.
He founded Atlantic. He discovered Ray Charles. You know, he and his brother Neshui Erdogan founded Atlantic Records. You know, and
he couldn't do a dang thing.
And he couldn't do a thing.
He had
said
an
it's all corporate. Everybody sold out to the corporate world. He said, and that includes us, Atlantic. He said Atlantic got too big, and he said it was out of my hands. And he said, so that's what happened. He said everybody sold out to the corporate world. And so anymore, when you're dealing with someone, you're not dealing with someone on a personal level. You can call them up and say, hey, Jerry, or hey, Ahmet, you know, or Jim Stewart, you know.
Nowadays it's
Al Bell. I'm just go down, you know, Sam Phillips, you know. I recorded on the very same equipment at Phillips Recorders that Sam recorded at Elvis on. I mean, so that's how far back I go in this industry. And
you go back to the 4-track days.
Yeah,
everything was recorded on 4-track machines.
Yeah, 4-track machines.
Tape.
And operating them was, it seemed simple enough, but you had to have the ears and understanding of the music.
Well, there was a certain finesse with working with that stuff because you also, you know, they got down to where there were bouncing tracks over to 1 or 2 tracks so that you could open up 3 other tracks so that you could do, this is what the Beatles were doing and why they sounded so big. And actually, it's amazing to listen to that music now and understand that was recorded on 4 tracks.
Yeah,
you know?
on 4-track machine.
And then when the 8-track machine came out, they didn't want to use it. They were afraid to use it.
Yeah, that's too many.
They were afraid to use it, which is so funny.
And
people really knew what they were doing. You went in and you cut everything live, boom, on the spot.
Yeah.
Orchestras and singers and all that before you guys actually came about in the 20s and 30s and 40s. Everything was cut live.
Yeah, I mean, you would see photos of Frank Sinatra sitting in a big sound room and a hall, and the orchestra is right there. The singers are here. Everybody's placed in such a way. He's sitting out in the middle of the room with 1 mic, you know, and then you'll see maybe 2 mics on the band and the orchestra.
Mics, yeah, and everything was done all at one time.
Yep.
And there was no overdubbing. No. There was no going back and fixing stuff. Forget about all what that's going on today. You had to be super talented. There's not even a word for it, but nobody can compare to what was going on in those days. And then you fast forward not many years, and the same thing was going on with you guys. The same things was going on with the Beatles.
Yeah.
Everybody had to know their, what.
Yeah, well, I mean, we did.
They didn't like that today at all.
No. We did what we did. We put down the music on tape. 2-inch tape.
Yeah.
And wasn't no games.
Songwriting was an art form.
Yeah.
Knowing your instrument was like, you better know it.
Yeah, from one end to the other.
Even when I was first starting out, you'd get around. Part of the thing was going around and playing with every and anybody you could, because it made you a better player. It made you better in every way, and so that's what I was doing, getting up and playing with any and everybody, which led to playing with some pretty incredible people.
I don't know that's the case anymore. I don't think people people get out and go sit in with folks like they used to. I don't know if that's because we don't play out anymore. But I don't know what's going on out there because what I hear, just through the accidental listenings that I do. I was not very. I'm not very pleased with what I hear, and the music is pretty much vanished.
Well, some of it's very good. Now, I am onto some stuff that you're not interested in, but for me, it's learning more things because of the nature of the recording. You have to know what's going on.
You have to keep up with it.
You know, like my guy, I love to listen Wavy Wayne on YouTube. He's great. If you have any things that you need to know, Pro Tools wise, recording wise, he's got some great.
Yeah, he's
stuff.
he's come up with some pretty good tips for you, didn't he?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Wavy
Wayne, he's cool, and so I love listening to him, and he's got some great artists that he works with. But yeah, I mean, you going back to everything about this business has changed so much. So I would hate to be a young up and coming, like real talented artist today, because
you gotta
even if
compromise.
somebody, well, that's what I was just going to say. Even if you decide that you are going to go with a record company and those sorts of things, they have got things so tied up.
It's got to be a certain
to,
format, certain this, certain that.
Oh,
it's
God.
like major C, though. Major C. Compromise. You got to compromise.
Yeah.
You know, that means compromise your art, your craft, your integrity.
And then they polish you.
Life is too short to do that.
They polish you into this thing that's unrecognizable. You know, it's almost like having a.
And when the shine wears off, they just get another one. You know, toss you to the side, and they don't bother to get a cloth and shine you up.
Nobody can even make a living anymore.
No.
You know, they got it so wrapped up, but you know.
They want to make a record, not a living. You know, music is a life. You know.
It is. It's art. It's
a
art,
life. It's not something you do here and then go do something else. It's your life. My art is my life.
And the corporate world cannot understand that. I remember when we were doing the Lovers record, and the guy who was financing this thing because he wanted to. We did not approach him. Anyway, he wanted to do this, but I remember we had to go to his house, and he broke out a pointer and and I went, I can't do this.
I said, what?
I can't go have somebody.
We have to make a plan.
But the pointer.
With a pointer.
The stick.
The point is, there's no pointer. There is no plan.
You can't do it that way. I mean, I'd much rather sell records out of the back of the car than you know. There's just no way. You have to do it for the love of it.
Yeah.
You certainly can't. I mean, if that's what you want to do, there are people who will, who are interested in doing that kind of stuff. You know, the corporate side of things, because their minds think.
Some people don't. They don't mind. You know, they'll drop the pants. You know, they don't mind. They don't mind it. They say, okay, well, it only hurts a little while, you know, and then
they all make lots.
Let me tell you, it's going to hurt you for the rest of your life if you compromise your integrity, you know.
But you know what? It seems like the entire world is being run like this now, and I hate it.
Led by the nose, like a pig with a ring, you know.
I mean, you can't. It's not artistic. People don't. It's like we thank God we've got this wonderful record player, and we've got some records, and you can sit.
Oh, it sounds.
Remember
great,
when it was like when you would sit and listen to a record and you'd hear it and it would go off.
That's what it is right now. For us.
Well, you know, it'd go across the vinyl, and the arm would pick up, and you hear it all happen, and it would go sit down, and then you could sit and listen and just think about what you had just heard.
Puts you right there.
And you stop and you're thinking about it, you know? Not anymore. You just got it shoved in your face constantly, 24/7, and it never stops. The streaming stuff.
And it's so bad. It's so bad. The country music, it's not even country and it's not music. You know, so I don't even know how they get it played because it's neither or one or the other. But I know that the people who aren't musicians put it together. I mean, I know some of those people who turned it all around, who were just like They worked on the staff at ASCAP. Suddenly they're big, powerful managers and record moguls, you know, in the industry. And they send people to school to go, "Whoa, higher make it here today." You know?
Yeah, they send you
my
to...
old back truck in a bit.
Can you imagine? They send...
God dang, can you imagine having to go to some class to learn to, you know, me and my old buddy is drinking the brew down on the Mid-Spoon Tube, put in the pickup truck. I said, well, I don't give a care, you know.
You have to go to school to learn this.
No, man, this is bad, man. Take somebody who has a perfectly great singing voice and teach him how to do that so he can be a star for a month. Be the flavor of the month.
Well, they pick one person that they put all everything into.
And that person's over in the calendar year, and they got somebody else that's already in the...
No, they let them go for a good 5 or 10 years.
Out, you know.
But yeah, I see you have to be ready to do any and all things that they want you to do.
Yeah, you got to be ready for it, you know. Bring that Vaseline. It's going to hurt, but only for a little while. Here's your new pickup truck. Here's the keys.